After getting confirmation that Logan Paul will not be defending his United States title at King or Queen of the Ring versus Cody Rhodes, the WWE teased what a lot of fans have been waiting for, and that is a Logan Paul versus LA Knight title feud for the US title. We gotta get into this, and when this could go down. Plus, one of the most surprising things of the year, as worst father, Rey Mysterio actually had something nice to say about his son Dominik. We're going to be getting into all of that on this episode of Wrestle Digest, but before we do, I'm just going to ask you guys for one thing. If you enjoyed the video, just leave a like. Pushes us out to other wrestling fans. You see a number on the screen goes up, everybody loves that, so if you wouldn't mind hitting like, we'd really appreciate it. But Casey, we're going to get straight into things. No hesitation. This could actually be really big for Dominik, as if his career wasn't off to a good enough start already. I want to say good enough, but the thing is, he's a heel, it is what it is. But Rey Mysterio had some interesting comments. He basically said, for my son to come in out of nowhere and not have my style, have a different build, like, it's tough, right? Dom is 6'1", 190. How can he have that tiny lucha style that Rey always had? And there was always comparisons, he said, but it wasn't until they separated and Dominik continued on his own path without having Rey by his side. That was the best thing that could ever happen to him. And he goes on to say in the past 3 years, he's had success that I never had in 3 years breaking into business. And he said, as a father, you can only imagine how proud I am. Incredible. Surprising comments for Rey being nice. Jokes aside, of course, but this is very true, Casey. Dominik on his own, or I guess with Judgment Day or whoever you put him with, has blossomed into this whole new character, just absorbing the heat, being his own guy, getting a lot of inspiration from Rey, but even some of his own movesets. He's become one of the best sellers in WWE, and this kind of rub from his father and from everyone else that he wrestles, just to me, bodes extremely well for him.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Deadbeat Dad Rey Mysterio here. I think that them separating was the best thing for Dominick Mysterio's career, because we've seen, time and time again, wrestlers, kids come in, they have that, first kind of, oh, that's, whoever's son, whoever's daughter, and then eventually it dies off. But with Dominick Mysterio, yes, we had that at the beginning, but they didn't carry on with that. They let him go on his own path, join the Judgment Day, be, Rhea Ripley's dog and stuff like that. But I think, like you said, it's great for Dominick Mysterio here because, he could have easily came in as that, lucha, Rey Mysterio's son, but he didn't. And I think that's the best choice that he's had for his career, because we're kind of seeing lucha kind of die within the WWE, which kind of sucks because I'm a fan of the lucha style, but I am a fan of Dominick Mysterio's style as well. He's so over with the crowd. You can't hear him speak whenever he touches the mic. And like you said, he's kind of taken moves from his father, moves from Eddie Guerrero, and made it into his own little moveset, which I really love to see. And I think Dominick Mysterio, at such a young age, has such a bright future in this company. And I think it's just great to see the direction he's going right now.
I mean, don't forget, just a few years ago, he was one of, I think, if not the only superstar who was, like, getting decent TV time while under 30 years old. I mean, Dom has nothing but a bunch of potential left in the tank, so very, very cool to see his father praise him like that. Of course, Rey is proud. Dominik is going to make a lot of fans proud for sticking with him through all this as well. He's grown so much. Can't wait to see what he has to do in the future. But Casey, that is kind of interesting, but we got to get into some of the real interesting stuff here. And it is a potential new championship feud that was teased by WWE. Now, if you watch SmackDown, I know, Casey, you were not a fan of the show last night. Let's be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan either. There was some good moments. The first match to open the show wasn't bad, and there were some cool moments as well as we get in here. This whole contract signing, I mean, regardless of the result of it, Logan Paul cut probably the best promo of his WWE career. I would say. I think he was really, really good on the mic there tonight. And then, of course, Cody going at him after, talking about, Mike Tyson, WWE Hall of Famer, gonna go after Logan's brother, all this stuff. So we heard that the US title wasn't going to be defended, which hurt a lot of WWE fans. Just kind of like, come on, really? He's going to the main event of King or Queen of the Ring, and he's not defending his, like, what is the point of this? Well, I mean, there's a couple points to that, whatever. Logan still getting a bit more heat, maybe building towards that SummerSlam match, but KC later, well, I think it was earlier. I can't even remember. The whole show blended together in my mind. I'd like to forget it. But we got this clip. Right after this, Nick Aldis comes out and looks at them, but Casey, this stare down, there was a lot of intent in that stare down, and LA Knight, despite, talking to Carmelo Hayes at a different point of the show, of course, having his match with Tama Tonga that he lost, this clearly planted the seeds. This is something Triple H loves to do. This wasn't subtle. This was LA and Logan Paul. They have a history. It's something WWE fans have been asking for ages. Just this little few second clip got me hyped, and I think this could happen very soon. It would not shock me to see that be the main event of SummerSlam in Logan's hometown of Cleveland.
Yeah, Josh, let me talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
This LA Knight versus Logan Paul feud is something we have wanted as WWE fans for a very long time. Ever since, LA Knight has been putting over by the WWE Universe, people have been wanting him and Logan Paul to feud because it'd be such, a great promo segment, such a great, mic battle between these two competitors that would build this match up drastically. And it would just be an amazing match between these two guys. Because as much as if you don't like it, Logan Paul is a great wrestler. I mean, we've seen him put on, great match after great match. And now going up against I guess he's going up against one of the hottest WWE superstar in the world right now in Cody Rhodes. And then falling back to facing LA Knight, who is arguably the second most over WWE wrestler in the world right now, just shows how much faith that Paul Levesque and WWE have in Logan Paul to put him in these big matches. And I think having this feud against LA Knight will be great for Logan Paul's career, but it will be even better for LA Knight's career, because I think LA Knight, it's about time that LA Knight, has some gold around his waist. He just deserves it. He's been putting over by like Tama Tonga last night. Don't get me started on that. But he's taken so many losses after loss after loss. He deserves this big break, and it should be at SummerSlam, beating Logan Paul in his hometown.
Oh, you've got me hyped for it. And yeah, I mean, hometown Logan Paul, people may be saying, oh, he should defend it, right? It's his hometown. I feel like people probably hate him. Like, Logan Paul has a ton of heat, not just in the WWE universe, but on social media, pretty much everywhere. So many people dislike him. You can respect his in-ring ability. That's one thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was filled with booze in Cleveland when he went there, right? And he's probably going to main event that show, if not main event the second main event, whatever it is, using the U.S. title. But like we said, the potential for LA Knight with a U.S. title is endless, right? Having that over his shoulder, the promos he can cut, the persona he can put on would be amazing. But the only problem is that LA Knight clearly still has a problem with the bloodline, and as we showed, he had a little bit of an interesting backstage segment with Carmelo Hayes saying, nobody's saying H-I-M, after Carmelo tried to. Carmelo was kind of hilarious, actually. I'm loving the mic skills on him, going after Randy Orton, going after LA Knight, loses to Orton, says, I didn't lose, I just didn't win. Like, I'm really liking Carmelo so far. This is the only roadblock to me, Casey. But then again, like, a feud with Carmelo could be short-term, as Carmelo's kind of going through different people on the roster, like, just kind of showing that he can have these matches with these great performers, these great superstars. But it wouldn't surprise me to see LA Knight and Carmelo maybe have a short-term thing, but LA Knight and Logan Paul be this more long-term, maybe even Clash at the Castle. Maybe he's not done with Carmelo by then, and we're not even sure if this is going to be a feud, but look, my belief is that this is going to be short with Carmelo, long term with Logan Paul for maybe a month or two. And even if LA Knight and Logan don't face off at, say, Clash of the Castle, then they'll face off at SummerSlam. And maybe even if Logan wins at SummerSlam, then they can continue, right? This is something that we have wanted forever. And like you said, the promo battles is maybe the biggest thing for me. In your mind, Casey, like LA Knight, if he wins this US title, which I think we're going to see, do you see LA Knight getting a world title push within the next year? This is going to shock a lot of people. I don't see him winning the world title within the next year. I know he's getting older. I know he's super over. I just think the in-ring ability is still good, but it's not quite there. But who knows? Like, if they give him this title and he performs very, very well, I don't see a reason not to just, like, give him maybe a little snip of it, have a few more title matches, something like that. What are your thoughts?
First off, I got to say, chef's kiss to Carmelo Hayes for selling that RKO last night. That was amazing. But it's up in the air for me. Do I think I could see LA Knight as the Universal Champion in the next year? No, because I think that's the biggest championship in the company. Maybe if he was drafted to Raw, we could maybe have this conversation of him winning the World Heavyweight Championship, because I think that is something that he could definitely do. But like you said, you want to see this guy have a title run before you give him that main title. And the perfect way to do that is by at the end of SummerSlam, with everybody saying the new United States champion, LA Knight. Yeah. So I think this is what's going to happen. My theory here, you kind of just said it, but I think that We're going to see this feud because Logan Paul isn't there every week. Carmelo Hayes is there every week. I think that LA Knight and Logan Paul are just going to continue to, feud and start this feud very soon up until SummerSlam, where it's at its peak. It's on fire. Everybody is wanting to see this match, where then ultimately LA Knight is going to win the United States Championship. And then after that, I think Carmelo Hayes will have himself kind of developed, and the WWE Universe will care about Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown. So I think then we will see that big fight between Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight for the United States Championship. Yes, in the meantime, I think they will start to drop these hints that LA Knight and Carmelo are going to feud, but maybe, like you said, maybe we see it soon, because this is something that could happen as soon as King of the Ring if they really wanted to. But I think that the perfect way for Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight to fight would be for the United States Championship.
Yeah.
So I think they may wait on this a little bit longer. But I don't think they shouldn't wait any longer for LA Knight to be champion, because, it's going to get to a point where everybody's like, why are we, so hyped up about LA Knight? He's constantly losing. He doesn't have a title. He's always, in the mix of being a champion, but can never win. So I think they need to put a title on him as soon as possible for the WWE to keep caring about him.
I think it'll be very interesting to see. I think the fans will at least care for him for a while. I think it's just like if you start to see a dip, that's when maybe but I guess you want to be preemptive on that. But regardless, there's so many possibilities with LA Knight, with this United States title. And we want to hear your thoughts down below, because I'm sure some people will have very differing opinions from ours. And hey, that's why we're here. That's why the comment section is there, and we'd love to hear from you. But that'll do it for this episode of Wrestle Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Guys, we just passed 2,000. So if you want to see that number keep growing, hit the button now. We'd really appreciate it. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, KC. We'll catch you in the next one.